We're back for game number 1 of the World Series tomorrow night between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Los Angeles Dodgers, and we have got our best bets again for game 1 of the Fall Classic. What a game 7 won by the Toronto Blue Jays. They have now gotten to this point. They have completed the comeback, down 2-0, down 3-2. No need to fear. Toronto finds a way, and they will be taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers here in the World Series. Obviously, the Dodgers have been dominant in this postseason. They are 9-1 in this postseason, with the only loss being game number 3 against the Philadelphia Phillies. That's just what the Dodgers do. They win. And of course, we have our best bets for game number 1 of the World Series. We will continue to do this obviously throughout the entirety of the World Series. Our game 2 best bets will be up the following morning of game 1 of the World Series. So early Saturday morning at 5 a.m., around 5 a.m., we will have our World Series best bets for game number 2. But I thought, again, with, having some time in between, I'll get this video out a little bit earlier for game number 1 of the World Series. So before we get into it, folks, make sure to go check out our NBA best bets now daily on the channel as well. We've also got our college football predictions, over 4 hours of college football predictions this week, our NFL predictions out on the channel too, and our UFC 321 predictions and best bets from Abu Dhabi. Tom Aspinall takes on Cyril Gane in the UFC for the heavyweight championship. Okay, on to the first. We're going to do 3 best bets like we've been doing throughout the course of this postseason, at least when we just have one game. And I guess now I get a chance to talk about the overall series as a whole too. So we're going to go all over that today. But our first of 3 best bets will be our best player prop of the day, Shohei Ohtani. Yep, I have been going at Ohtani. I've been going at the Dodgers for most of this postseason. I'm going to try to keep my Dodgers hate away from this. I'm joking a little bit, but am I? I don't know. No, Ohtani over 1.5 total bags today just makes sense. Ohtani was god-awful for basically the entire NLDS and the first 2 games played in Milwaukee against the Brewers. And then game 4 of the NLCS, he has one of the greatest games in baseball history. Now, does that mean he deserves the most valuable player of the NLCS off of 1 game? No. Probably not, but they had to give it to him. 3 home runs in just 1 game. Took his OPS in the postseason from 641 to 967, which is just insane. And obviously, Ohtani dominated on the mound too. Now, Shohei's probably in line for a game number 4 start, as he, of course, is the number 4 pitcher in this rotation. So we're probably going to see him and Max Scherzer go at it in game 4 in Los Angeles. That, if tickets weren't $600, I'd probably watch that. But I'd probably go and watch that. But I'm not spending all that money just to watch Max Scherzer lose in the World Series. Nah, he's got it. He's got it this year, right? Anyways, we're going to take Ohtani over 1.5 total bags. The Blue Jays are yet to pronounce a starter for game number 1. It's got to be Kevin Gausman, right? I mean, I don't know who else they would start. I assume they're going to go Gausman. I think they're probably going to go Gausman, Bieber, Yasavage. It's just dependent on what they do with Bieber and Yasavage. Who do they want pitching in Toronto? Actually, no. I think they want Yasavage game 2. But that will mean something, though, later in the series, because that means who's going to pitch game 6. I don't know. And potentially game 7. Essentially, again, I don't know if this series is going to go 7 games. I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to. But if it does, right, you got to determine who you want in your 4-man rotation. Just go 1 game. So obviously for Toronto, that's going to be Max Scherzer, regardless of how well Scherzer pitched against the Mariners in game 4. I mean, that's kind of how that series went, right? Max was available out of the bullpen in game 6 and 7 because he pitched in game 4. Same thing can be said about the World Series. For the Dodgers, obviously, they have not reached that far in a postseason series yet in the Ohtani era, but that means in a 4-man rotation, Shohei's going to be available out of the bullpen in a potential game 7 or game 6. Oh, that's phenomenal, ain't it? But they will be going to Blake Snell, and we're going to get into Blake Snell and the rest of the pitching matchups and just everything in general in a second, but this is just purely about Gausman versus Ohtani. I assume it's going to be Gausman tonight, right? I think it almost has to be. Gausman so far in the postseason, ERA's 2. He's gone 18 innings, 10 hits, 4 runs. Came in a relief appearance against the Mariners in game 7 of the ALCS. He went 1 inning and he was fine in that inning. He walked 3 guys. Got 3 outs is what I should say. Got 3 outs for Kevin Gausman. Passed the baton on over to Chris Bassett and then to Hoffman. Obviously game 1 by the Blue Jays. And Toronto navigated through a lot in that game, don't get me wrong, but a lot of base runners in that game. But Gausman, I assume, is going to get the ball here just because he threw 1 inning and 19 pitches on Monday. He will be 100% fine. I mean, this is 5 days off going into game 1 of the World Series. That's why they do this. So technically, the game 7 starter could pitch yet again on game 1. But it's going to be Kevin Gausman. Okay, again, My problem with Toronto at the beginning of the postseason, it still remains, you don't have a number one pitcher. Yes, it's Kevin Gausman. I don't have the confidence in Kevin Gausman like I have in a Blake Snell, like I have in a Yoshinobu Yamamoto, like I have in a Tyler Glasnow, like I have in an Ohtani. Oh wait, all 4 of those guys are on the same team. Great. And I will detail like how I think Toronto can win games in this series in a second. So trust me, this is not going to be all doom and gloom about Toronto and, oh, this is already a sure thing the Dodgers are going to win. Like, there are opportunities in which Toronto can be successful, but it's an uphill climb. Don't get me wrong. It's an incredibly uphill climb. I believe, I don't know the exact odds, but if I had to guess, I would assume the Blue Jays are the biggest underdogs in a World Series since 2019, since Nationals and Astros. If I had to guess. Minus 225 Dodgers, plus 190 Toronto. Yeah, I think the Nats are like plus 200 in 19. So I think this is the second biggest underdogs ever, or I guess since 2019. It's going to be an uphill climb. Again, I don't love the Gausman-Ohtani matchup. Ohtani at the plate. We saw what he did in Game 4, and I get it. Jose Quintana was a starting pitcher. But the thing is, Ohtani found his ways in Game 3 against, it was Miz in Game 3 for Milwaukee, but actually Ohtani's hit was against Aaron Ashby. But, here's the thing. Like, yes, Ohtani struggled a lot at the beginning of the postseason. I think it was just a matter of, okay, when is he going to break through? And once he breaks through, he's just going to be fine. And, he's already done that. I mean, there's not a bigger breakthrough than hitting 3 home runs in a game. Now, there is the thing we need to talk about. Like, yeah, the Dodgers haven't played in over a week. Sure, again, Toronto, only played 3 days after that. But, the Blue Jays have played way more recently than Los Angeles. The Blue Jays have gotten to stay in Toronto this entire time, and obviously they get number 1 at the Rogers Center. That's the only, thing we kind of have to put into here. Like, okay, how much rust is there going to be on the Dodgers? They haven't played in a little bit. Again, these guys, I'm sure they've seen live pitching, obviously, in preparation to this, but they haven't played in a live game for a week. I don't think that affects them too much, I'm going to be honest. I don't think that really affects too many of the swing patterns and whatnot with Ohtani and, any hitter up and down this lineup. I think they're going to be perfectly fine in the spot, if I'm being honest. And there's not a single bigger breakthrough for a hitter ever than hitting 3 home runs in a game. And Ohtani hit a triple in Game 3 before that in the first inning. He was the first batter of the game. That's when he officially, kind of broke his slump. I mean, there's, nothing much I can say other than, yeah, Ohtani's back. That's what he did in Game 4. 3 home runs, 3 solo home runs, but, he is a talent. I'm not going to deny that. At the same time, he threw 6 innings and gave up 0 runs and 2 hits and 10 strikeouts. This team, man. Yeah, I'm going to go Ohtani over 1.5 total bags. Big moments find big players. The MLB is dying for Ohtani to do something tonight. They are praying to everything that Ohtani has a big moment in the most watched postseason in years for Major League Baseball. If it matters, I guess, Ohtani did hit a double in Game 1 of the World Series last year. Now, that was in Los Angeles against the Yankees. But anyways, Ohtani did go 1 for 5 in that 10-inning game against the Yankees last year. I think he does at least that here. Again, either a double, 2 singles, or the homer, or hell, the triple that he hit in Game 3 of the NLCS works as well. Regardless of how he does it, I believe Ohtani will find a way to get it done. Give me Shohei Ohtani over 1.5 total bases, minus 120. Yes, Gausman's going, but again, my problem with Toronto is Gausman's good. Is he an elite number 1, or like any of the elite number 1s the Dodgers have? The answer to that question is no. He's good, but he's hittable, and that's where Ohtani comes into play. Shohei's going to find a way, especially he's playing, in Toronto, the place he was supposed to sign, but ended up not making, he didn't sign there, regardless, whatever. Ohtani finally found his way to Toronto, and he's going to go over 1.5 total bags in Game 1 of the World Series. Now, on to our second best bet. I think an underrated play here is the over. I think it is. A lot's going to be made of, Blake Snell's getting the ball, and Blake Snell has now gone 14 consecutive innings in the playoffs without giving up a single run. In those 14 innings, he struck out 19 batters and only allowed 2 hits, and only put on 6 total batters because he walked 4 guys in that Phillies game. Yeah, what Snell's doing right now is incredible. It's, he's one of 4 aces, but out of the 4 aces, he is number 1. And it's just incredible. Blake Snell has been very good. In the postseason, Blake Snell's got a .86 ERA. Now, the only 2 runs he's given up in this postseason, at least those are the only runs he gave up in general, was at the very tail end of that Game 1 start of the wild card round against the Cincinnati Reds. He hasn't given up a run since against the Philadelphia and Milwaukee lineups. Oh, by the way, both on the road. Okay, I think Snell's going to be really good tonight, and that's why I think it's a definite uphill climb for the Toronto Blue Jays. But eventually he's going to crack, right? Right? I don't know. I mean, again, nobody's really hit Blake Snell hard since, drumroll please, the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'll keep talking about this game. Thursday, September 4th, we had Pirates money line. Paul Skeens shut down the Dodgers. Blake Snell gets bitched. Dodgers come back in the game in the 9th inning, score 3 runs, ultimately fall short 5-3. The Pirates tried, all year long, they try to do anything to lose Paul Skeens baseball games, best pitcher of the generation. Anyways, though, maybe the greatest pitcher ever. Just wait. Snell has been lights out since that Pirates start. The tail end of the regular season, 13 consecutive innings to close the regular season. 19 of his final regular season innings, only 1 run given up. Shutout innings against the Rockies and Phillies, pitched very well against the Arizona Diamondbacks, got in the postseason. Again, dominant starts of Cincinnati, Philadelphia, and Milwaukee, and those Milwaukee and Philadelphia lineups, boy, are they dangerous. Well, yeah, Blake Snell in both those games went on the road and beat them both in both 1-run victories for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Again, though, eventually this thing's going to crack. Eventually, this dominance is going to come to an end. And I do believe that dominance slightly comes to an end tonight. Do I think the Blue Jays are going to go out there and score 5 runs off of him? No. I think they're going to score 3, though. I think they are. How many do I think the Dodgers are scoring off of Gausman? At least 3. I expect runs tonight. Because here's my thing about Toronto. This has been the best lineup in the postseason. Yes, they had those 2 games in the ALCS to kick off. Again, both in Toronto against the Mariners, where the lineups went ice cold against Bryce Miller and Logan Gilbert post 3rd inning, at least in game number 2. This lineup's only getting better now, though, because look who's back. Yep, Bo Bichette. Now, I know Bichette hasn't played in about a month, but this was always, the thing for Toronto. You keep winning, and eventually you are going to get Bo Bichette, who, at the time of his injury, led the American League in average and had the most hits in the American League. You add that guy back to your lineup, and now you're even more dangerous. 1, 2, 3 is going to be Springer, Bichette, Guerrero, or Bichette, Springer, Guerrero. I don't know how they're going to approach this, or maybe they start him in like the 5 or the 6 now. You got to bat Bo leadoff, I would assume, which again, Bichette's going to be DHing this entire World Series, and George Springer is going to have to go back to left field, which this now bumps out Addison Barger, because that's gonna bump Lucas to right, and Varsho obviously will stay in center. That's okay. Barger can be a bench bat. Again, Barger was kind of just forced into that role in the outfield. George Springer's going to have to start playing the field again, but you're willing to do that to get a guy like Bo Bichette back in the lineup every single day. And that, I'm telling you, that's going to be so big time for them. So eventually, again, like Blake Snell's been pitching very well. I mean, he's gone 14 innings without giving up a run. I think if any team's going to hit him, it is this team. I'm not telling you they're going to completely break through and that's going to be the sole reason they win the game. No, I just think they're going to score 2 or 3. Which, against a guy like Snell who's been pitching so phenomenally, that is a major breakthrough. Oh, we got 2 runs, we got 3 runs against Blake Snell, that's big time. And this lineup, again, they've hit everyone so far. I mean, look at Game 7 of the ALCS. Sure, they only score 4 runs. Everyone in the lineup got a hit. Springer, Lucas, Guerrero, Kirk, Varsho, Clement, who's been phenomenal. Barger, who won't be in the lineup tonight, though, at least starting. Kiner Falefa, Jimenez. All 9 of those guys got hits. Everyone who took an at-bat in that game got a hit for the Toronto Blue Jays. That's just what they do. And oh, by the way, yes, again, Bo Bichette, the American League average leader at the time of his injury, is back as well. Or sorry, hits leader, not average leader. Hits leader, because that was Aaron Judge, obviously. But hits leader is back. Oh boy. Same time, too, I look at the Dodgers, I'm like, all right, Gausman's good, but look at this lineup. Ohtani, I mean, I don't need to really spell it out for you, but Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, obviously 3 MVPs. You have Will Smith probably wedged into the 3 spot. Edman, who's been postseason riser. Teoscar Hernandez, who's been good in spots. I know he's been good. Muncy, he'll hit the occasional home run. TK Hernandez, who's the playoff riser, and Pages has been god awful. Okay, there's not a hitter in this postseason that's been worse than Andy Pages. It's almost to the point where I'm like, all right, like I know you're giving up some defensively. Do you just play Alex Call in center field? I mean, Call's been a way better hitter. Call works great counts. Former National, by the way. I'm wearing a White Sox jersey. Former National, Alex Call. I don't like the White Sox. I'm just wearing this. It's to the point where do you put that guy, do you let Call play? Because he's been way better than Pages this postseason. And yes, defensively, you're giving up a little bit, but I mean, I've seen Alex Call play some center. He's more of a corners guy, but I mean, he played He's played center in Rochester AAA for the Nationals. He played center coming up with the Guardians in the minor leagues. Like, he can do it. I don't know if you want him to make that start in game number 1 of the World Series. And I can assume it's probably going to be Pages in game 1. But at least that might be a future adjustment that the Dodgers end up making. Again, get call out there. He's much better, at least offensively, because Pages is batting .086 in this postseason. Another major factor we need to talk about, too. Okay, well, let's say the Blue Jays get to Blake Snell, and he only throws 5 or 6 innings. Here comes the pen. It's not like you can just burn starters out of the bullpen now. It's not like, okay, like the Phillies series where, oh, here comes Tyler Glasnow. You got to actually rely on a pen. Yes, Roki Sasaki's your closer, but how do you get to Roki Sasaki? I know Treinen had some big moments for the Dodgers in the NLCS and in the NLDS as well. I don't know, man. Against this lineup, yeah. Again, no lineup so far in the postseason. Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Milwaukee has been able to crack this Dodgers starting rotation. But if you can, and this is why they were so beatable in the regular season, if you can get to their starters, this bullpen's a mess. And obviously the mess is being somewhat cleaned up by Roki Sasaki. But that's a big opportunity for runs. Because the middle guys in this Dodgers bullpen, I'm talking Blake Treinen, I'm talking Anthony Banda, I'm talking Vesia, I'm talking, is Yates on the roster? I don't know if he is. No, I don't know. I don't think Yates is. I don't think Tanner Scott is either. But you get these, Jack Dryers of the world, Emmett Shanines, the Clayton Kershaws of the world. You get to these guys, okay, now we can start scoring. So I think the series is different. Over 7.5 runs, yeah, we're getting it at what, plus 100? It's plus money. I don't care. We're going to take it here. I think this series and this game specifically, yes, it's going to be higher scoring than many people expect it to be. We expect, okay, pitching dominance out of Blake Snell. Yeah, the Dodgers are going to score, but the Dodgers have held all of their opponents to low-scoring games. I think this one's a little bit different. Toronto's on a run right now. We got Drake talking about baseball now. Let's go. Blue Jays win. We get a Drake EP like we got in 19 with when the Raptors won. So, that alone, I'm cheering for the Jays. Oh, Kendrick's from LA. I swear I don't hate everything that happens in Los Angeles, but dude, Kendrick Lamar. Drake's gonna. I hope Drake wins again. I know that might be a controversial take, but it's the truth. Because someone makes actual music. I won't get into that. I think the Jays, again, the city is behind them. Again, that Drake thing, I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of not at the same time, too. Again, Toronto, not just the city of Toronto is going now. The entire state of Canada. I legitimately was not trying to make a 51st state joke. The country of Canada is united around the Blue Jays. Remember how united they were with the Raptors in 19? I mean, this is their opportunity at the world's biggest stage for baseball. And I think, again, they are able to score, and they're not just going to get shut down like every other team we've seen the Dodgers play so far in this postseason. So I'm going to take over 7.5 runs. Again, Dodgers bullpen eventually, Blue Jays can get to it. I think Gosman's going to give up runs. You know what happens in that Dodgers lineup. And I think the Blue Jays, again, they really step up to the equation, and they're not just going to get shut down and put down by the Dodgers like Philadelphia, like Milwaukee, and like Cincinnati. So with all that being said, it's time for a money line pick. Let's go. Hey, we're taking the Dodgers. I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm still taking Los Angeles, unfortunately. Here's the thing, guys. I think there's going to be runs scored. I don't think, again, I'm talking about how big of a win it is if the Blue Jays can score 2 or 3 runs on Blake Snell. Yeah, I think 3, 4, or 5 runs are going to be put on Kevin Gausman. That's the problem. Do I think the Jays are going to be a little bit competitive in the series? Yeah. My thing ultimately, though, is all right, I still haven't seen a team have that much success against Snell to the point where I'm talking about, yes, again, a couple runs is a massive day off of Snell. I think there are going to be opportunities for the Dodgers to win. For the Jays to win. Hell, I think they probably win game 2. Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound. I know he was very good. He's been very good too, but that's a much more winnable spot in my opinion. And I don't think they go back to Los Angeles down 2-0. All right, I hope. I don't know. So again, I'll have a different thought process to that potential. Or we know game 2 is gonna happen tomorrow. I'll get back to you tomorrow on that. Right. But I think the Blue Jays, again, I think they're going to be more competitive. Everything I said about them being more competitive than Cincinnati, than Philadelphia, than Milwaukee, that's 100% true. I believe, yes, they are going to stay in the game more than those other teams. Unfortunately, though, they're going to lose game number 1. I can't pick against this Dodgers team in this spot. And the biggest factor to me is pitching, right? And this is the difference between, and I know again, oh yeah, the Blue Jays have the second highest payroll in baseball, or at least close to that. Or they have another, I don't know if they're number 2, but I know they're top 10 as well with the Dodgers. I get that. But here's the difference in these two teams. Yes, both of these lineups are amazing, but still, like, many people might still take the Dodgers lineup over the Blue Jays lineup. Personally, I don't know if I would. And the reason why you take the Dodgers lineup, again, if you are picking Los Angeles, if you just purely like the Los Angeles lineup better than the Toronto lineup, is because of Shohei. It's just an obvious thing. But from 1 to 9, yeah, the lineup is better for Toronto. The only difference, though, in all of this is pitching. It's okay, yeah. Like I like Kevin Gausman quite a bit, but this is the difference in aces. Gausman's been a good pitcher all year long, but look at his postseason starts. He gets pulled he gets pulled in the 5th inning. He gives up a couple runs, and that's against Seattle, who has had a classically, or just has always been an inept offense. He pitched well against the Yankees in Game 1. Don't get me wrong, in the LDS, but I mean, like, it's just look at how Gausman finished the regular season. He had starts where he gave up 4 runs a pop. And then Blake Snell ends the regular season with 19 scoreless innings. And then so far in the postseason, I mean, yeah, straight 14 scoreless innings going into this game. It just makes it very difficult in Toronto to win because the margin of error is just so small. It's so small against this team. Yeah, again, the Toronto lineup I love, and I'm so glad Bo Bichette's back. But another thing too, like, all right, is Bichette going to be that viable in his first game back? He has not faced a in-game pitcher in about a month and a half. When he went out in early September. And that was obviously, and I talked about earlier, like that's the reward for getting so far. And that was always in the back of the mind, I assume, for Blue Jays fans and Blue Jays players too. Okay, we keep winning, we get Bo back. And Bichette, obviously, is a 300 hitter. You love to have him back in the lineup. He just hasn't played, though. He hasn't played at all. So, I don't know. I got to go Dodgers here. I think Snell's going to have a good game. Again, I think Toronto's going to crack the code on Snell better than previous teams have. But again, what is success against Blake Snell? It's scoring 2 or 3 runs. I think Gausman's going to get hit way worse. It's hard to beat a lineup that has all these pieces. And again, I like the Toronto lineup more personally, but who's facing the better pitcher? It's by far the Blue Jays are tasked with a more difficult, matchup here. The Dodgers, yes, are they very 1 through 6 heavy? 100%. Ohtani, Betts, Smith, Freeman. Say what you want about Edman, but Edman's been huge. Teo, like that is a great 1 through 6. And where it gets murky is 7 through 9. But here's the thing, in the postseason, the regular season, Muncy in the 7 spot, Kike in the 8, who cares? In the playoffs, Muncy is hammering baseballs to center field. Kike is a 300 hitter in the postseason and only just doesn't show up when we bet on him because thanks, buddy. But still, he's a 300 hitter. And the only automatic out right now is Andy Pages. Pages looks lost at the plate. I mean, I don't know why he's still in the lineup. He's only in the lineup because he was responsible for the ball that got put in play against Orion Kerkering when all Kerkering had to do was throw to first base. Now, do the Phillies win that series? Probably not, but maybe. I don't know. Probably not. But who knows? Right, who knows? That's the only automatic out in this lineup. Other than that, I mean, I know Freddie hasn't been great so far in the playoffs. He's been like a 230 hitter. I know he's hit home runs, obviously. This is one of the clutchest players in the sport. And it's crazy, too, by the way. Like, Freddie Freeman's going to go into the Hall of Fame as a Los Angeles Dodger. Regardless of what happens in the series, that moment in Game 1 of the World Series last year, the walk-off grand slam against Cortez, I mean, that solidified it that, Freeman's going to go in the Hall of Fame as a Dodger. He won a MVP with the Braves. I know, again, Freddie probably, the heart's still in Atlanta. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame as a Dodger. Like, believe you me, he will. Mookie will too, obviously. It's just, this is the core that they've built, and they might add Kyle Tucker in the offseason. They're going to add Murakami in the offseason, and best believe they're going to be involved in the Bryce Harper situation in the offseason too. Do I believe Bryce is going to get traded? Probably not, but there's talk about it. It's not a win. It's gone from, Bryce is a Philadelphia lifer. He wants an extension there to now his own team president's talking down upon him, or owner, whoever it was, I think it was a GM, is talking down upon him. And now, Bryce isn't 100% sure to stay in Philadelphia. Now, I would cry happy tears if he went to DC. It won't happen. If Bryce got traded back to DC, I mean, I would be flying to Chicago for opening day. I'd be booking my tickets immediately. He's probably going to end up in Philadelphia still, but I'm telling you, there's a very good chance the Dodgers are going to be in on Harper. They wanted Harper in 2018. They didn't get him. He went to Philadelphia. I'm just saying there's a chance he can end up in Los Angeles as well. So this is going to be a team that's just going to get better in the offseason. You look at these holes that they have and the slight holes that they have. Well, there's a chance, and I'm not telling you they're going to do this, but there's a very slight chance you replace Max Muncy. Kike just goes to the bench, but Muncy, Kike, and Pages with Murakami, Bryce Harper, and Kyle Tucker. Yep. There's a legitimate chance that happens. Harper is by far the biggest long shot. They're going to get Murakami. You and I both know that. He's a Japanese player. He's a very good power bat from the hot corner. You know for a fact he's coming over to the Dodgers because, I mean, look at Ohtani. Obviously started it, and, you know, oh, here comes Yamamoto. Here comes Sasaki. I mean, these guys from Japan, they only know one team, and that's the Dodgers, except for the Nationals, who end up on Shinosuke Agaswara. Of course we had to get him. This team's only getting better. And Kyle Tucker, I mean, that's already come out. The Dodgers are going to be heavy on pushing on Tucker. They're going to get Tucker. Who's going to outbid them? You know? I don't think Tucker's got that much loyalty to Chicago. Obviously, with the opt-out, yeah, he's going to go to the highest bidder, and that's going to be Los Angeles, a team that gives him the best chance to win yet again. So, they're only getting better, and that's the thing. That's why the league's going to go into a lockout next year. I think, again, the Blue Jays are going to be the most competitive on them in this entire postseason. Undoubtedly. I think this is going to go at least 6, at least 5. I'll say at least 5, which is going to sound crazy. Like, I think it's going to go at least 5, and I don't know what happens post that. Toronto's good, and I think there's going to be opportunities for them to win. Like, I think Yamamoto is going to get hit hard eventually. I think Ohtani, third star in the postseason, is not going to be great for him. Glasnow's hittable, but in this specific game, yeah, this is as close to a lock as I think you can get. My only concern on the Dodgers would be, and would I play minus 155? Not entirely. My biggest concern with Los Angeles in this game is just they haven't played in a week. You haven't played in a week, now you got to go, you know, to a different country and play. I like how, by the way, after the Blue Jays won the ALCS and the pennant, Alex Rodriguez is on the post-game show on Fox saying, ooh, the Dodgers got to go to Toronto now, and that's a tough place to play, man. You know, you got to go up north, you got to go into a hostile environment, into a different country, you gotta get your passports out, you gotta cross a border. I'm like, dude, it's like they're gonna take an airplane up there. Bro's talking like they have to, cross the Canadian forest on foot, like we're back in the 1800s. I just found that funny the way A-Rod was talking about Toronto, like it was, I don't know, like, Venezuela. Like I just like what? Anyways, the Dodgers again, they're the best team in the league still, obviously. The Blue Jays are going to have the best chance to beat them. And look at the record was great. Yeah, the Dodgers just played a 97-win team and a 95-win team in the 2 rounds previous to this, and they went 7-1 in those 8 games. So I don't really know what else to say. The Jays will get their chances. I just don't think it comes tonight. I think we see a high-scoring game, a game that I don't think people expect to be high-scoring. I think it will be, but ultimately, yes, I have to go with the Dodgers. Their clutch bats are going to come through. I like the Toronto lineup as a whole, but the best individual players are by far in Los Angeles, and the best pitcher tonight is on Los Angeles as well. And oh, by the way, who's the best closer in this game? It's Sasaki. I like Hoffman, but yeah, I'd rather have Sasaki pitch 1 inning than Jeff Hoffman personally. Other than that, yeah, I don't love the Dodgers pen, but who knows? Again, guys, Snell can give up 2 runs and still go 8 innings, by the way. He can. So, this is the Dodgers night. We'll see you tomorrow night for game number 2. Or tomorrow morning, I guess, using a Joe Buck line. Anyways, folks, that'll do it for game 1 of the World Series. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. We'll be back tomorrow for more MLB Best Bets. Folks, thank y'all for watching. Again, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you did any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching. And Mamba, forever.